Hey everyone! So there's a common misconception that my life is kind of all play and no work, which couldn't be further from the truth. We decided we're ready for a vacation. What better place than the grandest of canyons?
But not just the Grand Canyon, the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
One thing you'll notice is that when you leave planning a hike up to an ultra runner, your 5 to 7 day excursion tends to turn into a 12 to 13 day excursion.
So I've covered quite a few miles of trails in the Grand Canyon, and I was able to put together those past experiences and plan a trip that would be the most photogenic one that I could think of. You know, I knew it would be kind of a challenge for both of us. It was a lot of miles. It was the longest either one of us had ever been out continuously backpacking for. So the route I chose ended up being around 85 miles. The route we decided on would start at Lippin Point, descend to the Colorado River at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, do an 18-mile out and back to the confluence of the Colorado River and the Little Colorado River, and then we would do 12 miles of the Escalante route where we joined the Tonto Trail before dropping down the South Kaibab Trail to Phantom Ranch. And after a few days rest there, we would ascend back to the South Rim via the Bright Angel Trail.
So now it's time to pack. The first thing we wanted to do when we were packing was get out all of the gear we thought we were going to need. Now, you can go on a light, fast backpacking trip, or you can be photographers, which means you're not going light and fast. The unfortunate thing is that camera bags are really great for carrying camera equipment, but not outdoor gear, and outdoor bags are really great for carrying outdoor gear, but not necessarily camera gear. I ended up carrying an Osprey pack with a lot of the food and camp gear.
And then I carried the Mindship backpack with pretty much all of the camera gear, most of the camping gear, and then my personal items as well.
Luckily, we had most of the gear we already needed, except for food. Because it was kind of last minute, we ended up going the easy route and buying a whole bunch of backpacker pantry meals.
It cost a little bit more, but the convenience was appreciated.
So we decided we wanted to carry 2 camera bodies, 3 lenses, 2 tripods, a bunch of filters, and all the accessories that go with that.
So after packing our bags, the next step was to acquire permits. So we went to the Backcountry Information Office. Fortunately, I had the itinerary all laid out with each campsite for each night, and she told us whether or not the sites were available, and within about 20 minutes we had our permit for 12 nights and 13 days in the Grand Canyon.
The other cool thing you can do is they have a scale where you can weigh your packs.
It weighs enough.
Enough? What are we at up there?
57 pounds without water.
Oh man. Oh good, I'm less than Kendrick's. Oh man, 42. We've got our bags packed, and I'm about to embark on an 85-mile hike, which is definitely the furthest I've ever gone. Okay, we're at the beginning.
Already broke a trekking pole and haven't even left the parking lot, so yay.
Kendrick's leaving with 1 pole, 82 miles to go, and we're at the Tanner Trailhead. Let's do this.
Yay.
So when we started down the trail, the first thing that took my breath away were the views. The moment you see the Grand Canyon, if you've never seen it before, it's completely awe-inspiring.
So many people just go to the little pullouts on the rim and look from there, and the Grand Canyon is still no less inspiring of a place from those views. But to me, the only way to really grasp the magnitude of the Grand Canyon is to go down into it. And the light, it doesn't matter what time of day it is, even the worst lighting part of day is still just so amazing. There's shadows everywhere.
The trail we took down into the Grand Canyon wasn't a very maintained trail.
Got my pack mule, doing all my work up there.
You didn't tell me there was going to be rocks on this hike. The terrain ended up being quite a bit more rocky and loose than I anticipated, and so even though our first day was only 7.5 miles, it was a tough 7.5 miles.
Yeah, there's a couple sections on the Tanner Trail, which is what we used to descend. It's very steep and very loose.
But what I noticed with the Tanner Trail was that the entire 7 miles was this unbelievable view. There was no boring part of the trail. It was rocky and downhill, but anywhere you turned, there was like a new cliff or a new rock to look at, and it was constantly entertaining. We just got over the last ridge that gave us our first view of the main part of the canyon with the river in the background, and it is spectacular. Now we just have to finish getting down to the river. Let's go.
It's an often neglected part of the park. For me, it's just the views don't get any better than that.
Towards the end of the hike, my legs were beginning to hurt, and my feet as well, but we kind of kept powering on. When we got to the beach, I was exhausted. Seriously, day 1 left me in a little more pain than I thought I was going to be. Oh well, time to recover. I'm starving. I just kept thinking, oh my god, I have 12 more days of this? Camping in the bottom was amazing.
The Tanner Trail comes down to the Colorado River at the Tanner Rapids. If you're camping next to one of those, it's just a roaring noise constantly.
We hit the beach and we set up camp for our first night. That's one of the most peaceful times of day. I think our highlight every day was kind of setting up camp and getting dinner going. Dinner time! I get mesquite chicken. Kendrick gets himself some pad thai. And all by the sound of the river. That time you have to just relax for a minute before you're going to bed to just go hike again the next day. Alright, we just had dinner. It was delicious. And now we're in bed, because that's what you do when you go camping. Alright, well, until tomorrow. So after our first night, I woke up extremely sore. I kept thinking, there's no way I can handle 12 days.
Yeah, you're sore initially, but you get over it, and your body adapts. But it's one of those things you don't know until you experience firsthand.
So on our second day, there was an area that we really wanted to photograph. It meant an extra 18-mile out and back hike, but it was important for us to see it. Good morning! We're up and we already have coffee made. Ready for 9.5 miles today?
9.1.
9.1, oh good, so much better. The hike to and from the Confluence was probably one of my favorite hikes. It was the Beamer Trail, and it was a really difficult trail for me personally. I think because I wasn't expecting all the rocks and I wasn't expecting the cliffs and the drop-offs. Although the trail goes along the river, it's not down along the flat part of the river. It's up above the river where you're having to walk around all these really rocky washes.
The nature of the Grand Canyon itself is to have a bunch of side canyons. So if you're contouring around, you have to go into these side canyons and around and drop into these really rocky, kind of rugged washouts. It just kind of becomes this really tedious hiking.
We've stopped to preemptively put on our rain jackets because we can see
And smell.
that this rain is coming our way. It's raining and we only have like a mile left to go, but we're also walking like 1 mile an hour. So yay! It is the end of day 2 and we just got to camp. We hiked 9 miles today and we just got our tent set up, and I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard for me. So on the second day of our hike, I'm hiking along and my heels had been hurting, and all of a sudden I feel this pop and all this liquid over my heel, and I turn to Kendrick and I say, hey, so I think I got a blister. It actually hurt really bad and I haven't taken my shoe yet, so I thought y'all might want to watch. Oh, that's delicious. Look at that, completely liquid-filled blister. So much worse than I ever should have let it get. We finally have camp set up, and it's finally dinner time, so we're waiting on our meals. We've got Italian sausage.
And Kathmandu curry.
You can't see it, but we're like on a beach, and the Colorado River is right in front of us.
Camping for night 2. We're at the confluence of the Colorado and the Little Colorado River. Good night.
Good night, world. Good morning. It's our third morning, and Kendrick's gotten up and gone outside already, so I'm doing a little confessional in here. I hurt so bad. Like, my legs are killing me, and that blister I got on my foot yesterday is so bad. I don't know if I can do 9 more days. I hate giving up, but I also think I may have bit off more than I could chew. Last night we camped about a half a mile down from this area called the Confluence. It is where the Little Colorado River meets the main Colorado River.
It's kind of nice out here, not swarming with tourists. It takes a little bit of effort to get here. You have to hike. It's about 16 miles one way.
The Little Colorado River had this really amazing light blue, almost kind of milky turquoise hue to it. Exactly.
Just this gorgeous light blue, hard to describe.
The neatest part to me was where you could see the moment they joined, and it looked like you were just pouring 2 different liquids into one little river. It's really cool.
And all of a sudden that vibrant turquoise color just disappears and becomes the dark green of the Colorado River.
We're starting our 3rd day of hiking, and today was supposed to be a rest day, but because of my awesome pace of about 1 mile an hour, we decided we should probably hike half of what we were going to do tomorrow, and we are headed to another beach spot.
Yay.
That's the end of our rest day after 5 miles. We just reached our camp spot. It's gonna make tomorrow way better, and we're down by the river again. Since we set up camp every single night, we thought we'd give you a little time lapse. Kendrick's over there shooting pictures, so I thought I'd give you guys a little update. It's the 4th day hiking, and at the end of today, we're gonna have an opportunity to bail out if we want to. It's kind of all up to me and how I'm feeling. So I'm spending today deciding if I have another 8 days in me or not. Honestly, I'm not sure.
And to be honest, whenever I was planning this itinerary, I had in mind a certain pace that we can go. But in those first few days, we were struggling to go over 1 mile per hour, which had me questioning everything, really. Yeah, there were some doubts in my mind.
I honestly couldn't imagine hiking 70 more miles with a blister.
2 bad blisters.
I went to bed that night deciding whether my fear of blisters or my fear of regret was more. It's really difficult to condense a journey of this magnitude into one video blog, so stay tuned for the next episode to see what we do next. So here's to blister-free hiking. Love and light.